Hey, it's heyitswhitlavonne and welcome back to my channel. I have taken quite the break from YouTube and I'm so excited to be back. I actually don't know when I'm going to be posting this video, but let's chat a little bit about that. So this past summer I took a few trips. And I totally planned on having these awesome vlogs. I was so excited because I was going to Disney with my sister. She was doing the Disney College program this summer. And I was so ecstatic to just have some hangout time with her. But I ended up losing all of that footage when I was 90% done with editing the video, as well as my mom took me to Vegas. And I thought I lost that footage, but I actually got a lot of it back. I was able to recover it. So I'm gonna make that a separate video, but those two things happened before I ended up recovering the footage. I was so frustrated and I was like, okay, I just need to step away. And it ended up working out. I ended up needing to step away because it gave me more time to work on the book that I'm publishing. And so everything works out for a reason. But I wanted to still come in and just kind of say what happened and then tell you about the books I read this summer. I really had some bangers this summer, so I'm very excited to share. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my story graph because that's where I keep the best track of what I've read. So I'm looking at my iPad. I started off June finishing the Court Legacy series by Eden O'Neill. I think I talked about it on the channel before, but it's been so long now I can't really remember. But the Court Legacy series was a high school bully romance, enemies that turned into rivals, that turned into I don't know if I can trust you, that turned into lovers. It's an ensemble, so you're watching to see well, who's doing what. It's a whole thing. It kept me up at night. I had to know the answer, what happened. So it was really good. And then I had The Beauty and the Orcs by Finley Fenn. I actually received an ARC for this book. So excited about it. This was a male-female romance. We had a very bossy orc. We had very interesting piercings and jewelry. We had substance relief rep. There was groveling. There was accidental pregnancy. There were a few makeover montages. It started out with a one-night stand. So there's a lot in this book. It was really fun. I really enjoy the fact that Finley's books in the series, you know what you're getting into. You come in with these expectations after you've read a few books. You're okay, I get it. This is where we're coming from. This is what to expect when I open up a book in the series. But at the same time, every book is still fresh and new and different. And even though I was okay, judging by the way the other books have gone, I bet this is gonna happen. And I was right. But then other stuff happened and I was whoa, I did not see that coming. I did not know. It still blew me away by the end. I was what? So it was really cool. And then this book, she did a prologue and she did an extended epilogue. I think you can get them by signing up for her newsletter. I think I got them when I was still a part of her Patreon. But I think if you sign up for the newsletter or something like that, you'll get them. Okay, next I read Song of the Sea King. Well, I'm not going through all of the books, I'm just going through my faves. But the next favorite book that I read this summer was Song of the Sea King by Alessa Thorne. We're not even gonna go into it because you guys know how much I love Alessa Thorne's writing. Anytime I talk about her, I talk for 5 minutes and then I have to edit it down to 30, so we're just not going to do that today. So I'll say this was the second book in the Lost Fae Kings series. This one follows Mananen, I think is how you say his name. I'm really not sure, to be honest. And we have Ella. And so we get to see a new, ooh, that might be a spoiler. Just read the books. I don't want to say it and it be a spoiler, so I'm just going to say read the books. Okay, next I had another arc. Like, I just keep getting blessed with these arcs, but I had another arc called Kingdom of Whispers. This one was by Janae Mang, and this is a YA. And you know, I don't often read YA, but when I read YA, it's good. Like, if you hear me talk about a YA book, it is a good book. And this one, the main character, her baby brother, she's a princess, but everybody hates her. And her baby brother gets sick, and the only like cure is deep within this deep, dark, magical forest that, like, you know, is like, if you walk in there, you're never walking out. She's like, I don't care. I will do whatever. I will lay down my life for my baby brother. So she goes into the forest, and it's chaos. The next book I want to talk about is Iron Widow by Shirin J. Zhao. This one I've had on my bookshelf. I actually have 3 copies of this book. 3 physical copies of this book. I don't know how that happened. And they've all been sitting on my bookshelf for over a year, and I finally read it this summer. I was waiting because I had heard so many amazing things about this book, but I knew it was part of a series, and so I wanted to wait until the next book came out, because everybody was like, oh my gosh, that, you know, ending, oh my goodness, the cliffhanger, and you know me, I hate cliffhangers, so I was like, I'll wait. But a friend said that she was reading it, and we often buddy read together, so I was like, oh, this might be the perfect time. And I'm so glad. If you follow my TikTok, you've probably seen me react to that last chapter. I'm so glad I did this as a buddy read, because I immediately needed to talk to somebody else. Oh my goodness, that last chapter, y'all, is wild. But such a good book. Okay, I continued in the Black Bear Clan series with her Orc Warrior. Very awesome series, very like chill, comfort reads. I don't know if this counts as a historical monster romance, but those are the vibes. And I love, again, this is another series where every single book, you know what to expect, like, you know what you're getting into. You know that it's going to be chill, like low stakes. You're not going to sit there and be crying, you know, in the middle of the story. But at the same time, Zoe Ashwood makes sure to make every single book different, and you're getting something different out of it. So I really appreciate that. Next, I read the Rich Demons of Darkwood series by C.R. Jane and Mae Dawson, and that one was another wild ride. I am really getting into the thrillers, you guys. I'm doing so well. We had a serial unaliver. It was another bully romance. I think it was college romance. And it was a wild ride. Definitely very dark. Please read the trigger warnings if you want to read the series, but it was really good. Let's see, what else? Okay, then I received another arc from Cleo Evans, and it was Cosmic Kiss. Hold on. Do you want to know how much I enjoyed Cosmic Kiss? I have never physically annotated a book before. This is my first annotated book. When I'm reading in my iPad, I'll highlight, but I've never done it to a physical book before. So you know this has to really mean something for me to physically do this. But this book was so freaking good. I probably will make a separate like video about this, because Cleo Evans is coming to a Polycon. And if you don't know, I'm a Polycon influencer for this year. So I'll probably make a whole video about like her books and why I love her writing. So I'm not going to take up too much time today, but this was a really good book. I continued with the Black Bear Clan and also read her Orc Protector as well as her Orc Husband. And I want to tell you about her Orc Husband because this one, even though like it's in the same world, this book Zoe wrote in a collection with other writers. So like The Orcs Bidding was by Alana Khan, for example. Like these, it was in a series called Monster Brides. So whereas all the other books in the series are in the Black Bear Clan series, this one was part of the Monster Bride series, but it is in the same world. It does, like, it's you're not gonna, I don't think you have to read it in order. I don't think it gave any spoilers, but I would say read all the books anyway because they're really good. But I just wanted to like point that out just in case anybody was confused. Then we got to Roar of the Storm King by Alyssa Thorne. Again, not gonna get into it. This one was Tyrannus. You guys know how I love my dragons. This one just I can't wait to see what she does next. I know that the next book coming out is Gargoyles, so that will be fun, but I don't know if she's gonna do the boys now, or is she gonna go back to homegirl that woke up the wolf. Like, I don't know where she's going, but I'm so excited to see what happens next in like the Fae world. Then I read Toughest Deal and Deepest Cut by Alyssa Thorne. I had been saving those for a rainy day, and it was definitely raining in my life, so I needed to read those, and they were very good. I finally got some answers, but like, if you read the last book, Deepest Cut, I think there's a book coming after. I don't think the series is over. So again, we'll see. The next book I'm so excited about because Book Talk finally led me in the right direction. I found out about the Grim Reaper's lawyer from some video on TikTok. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, just looking at the cover, I was like, I have to pick up this book. So basically what happens, the main character, let me just check. Okay, her name is Joyce. Basically what happens, the main character, Joyce, she's a lawyer, like, just in life, but she hates her life. Like, it's not going the way she wants to. She really wants to be a lawyer, but just there's so many circumstances that are happening that she's just like, this sucks. Well, she goes into court one day and she dies. And you would think, like, she's thinking like, oh, you know what, whatever, like, this was such a dumb way to die. I can't believe this happened, but at least I'm gonna go to heaven. Turns out she's not. Because she's a lawyer and because she had to do what she had to do, she's not going to heaven. And so the Grim Reaper that comes to get her, he's like, hey, I actually need a lawyer. And she's like, I couldn't care less. I hated my life as a lawyer. You can take me downstairs. Like, I'm not doing this. And after some back and forth, some, you know, backstabbing or compromise, whatever you want to call it, she finally decides, you know, okay, fine, I'll be your lawyer. And so like we learn about like, why in the world would a Grim Reaper need a lawyer? Like, we're learning all about this like world and like what happens in this afterlife. And it's such a cute story, and I think it's gonna be the first in a series. There is another book coming out, but this one was so cute, and I was so excited to read a new author that I hadn't read before. So Maya Monique, if you're watching this, good job, girl. The next book, or actually series, that I want to shout out is the Zaviri Mates. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. The first book in the series is called Taken to Voraxia, and this series is by Elizabeth Stevens. This is a very great series. I really enjoyed it. I stopped at book number 6 just to like give myself a break, and I needed to start reading other like arcs that were due. I do plan to get back into the series. This is a really good series. However, I really highly advise you to read the trigger warnings, especially if you have experienced some of the things that were going on in book 1 and 2, because it's not the the violence is not on page, right? But it is still heavily detailed, and you are like, it's part of the plot. It's part of like why certain things happen, especially in book 2. And so if you are on Storygraph, if you find my review for Taken to Voraxia and Taken to Nobu, I did go into detail. Maybe I'll put it on the screen, but there's a way, like when you see a review, you can do like a spoiler, and then like if you don't want to read it, you don't click on the arrow, but if you want to read it, you can, you click on the arrow. Anyway, what I wrote in there wasn't a huge spoiler, but I just wanted, for anybody who sees the trigger warnings and wants a little bit more information before they open up the book, I put it there. But anyway, with that being said, like, please take care of yourself. With that being said, this is an awesome series. Every book every book is so cool. We're getting to see different planets every time. So we're getting to see different types of aliens, how they live, what their culture is. And I love like just how everything has come together. Like being 6 books in, I'm like, how did Elizabeth plan all of this? Like, it's so cool. And each book, like, you're not like, oh my God, this is the same song and dance. No, like you're getting something new every time. So I really enjoyed reading through. Obviously, like I'm 6 books deep, so obviously I enjoyed it, but it's a really good series. Okay, moving on to August. I didn't really get that many books in for the month of August. I did end up reading Little Bird by Jenica Snow. This is another one that I've been saving for a while, and I finally read it. This one has an age gap that I was like, excuse me, and that's why like I was like, can't read that right now. When the book starts, the female main character she's under 18. And so that's why I didn't pick it up for a while, because I was like, I cannot read that. But I'm so glad that I did, because like I said, it's very well explained. And she's a child for the first half, and there is nothing going on. We're just learning who the characters are. We're seeing what happens in their life. There's nothing happening. And then like we have like a middle ground where we transition, and then when she's an adult, then things start happening, which only made me a little sad, because I'm like, I kind of want more of her being an adult. I want to see more. Like I would just want the book to be a little bit longer, but it was very well written, and worked so well within the series. I really like the series. I don't know what to tell you. I like the series. So yeah. Then I had another arc, The Golden Key by Cass Geller. And Cass is someone that I've been following on Bookstagram for, I think, 2 years. And so to see her write this book, to see her process, and to see it finally come to fruition, I'm so freaking proud of her. It's so wild, because you can be so proud and so happy for people you've literally never met before in your life. But that's the beauty of how like connected you can be in the book community, and like how positive social media can really be for your life, because you can meet these people who, you know, you end up looking up to, or you end up really, you know, like rooting for and supporting. And that's how I feel about Cass. You know, she's living in London, I think. I'll probably never meet her in my life, but I'm like sitting here like, yeah, you go girl. So anyway, The Golden Key. This is very loosely based on Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And this one was really cool. I was, okay, so mind you, I thought that this was a white shoes. It's not. So I want to tell you ahead of time, it's not. It's just one male main character, one female main character in a couple. But like you see his other 2 brothers, so you get to know them too in the story. Actually, there's a really cool cast of characters in this book. Bea, I want to be best friends with her. Like there are so many cool people in here. But basically she starts off the book. She starts off at the beginning of the book running for her life. She ends up running into a forest and then stumbling upon this cabin in the woods. The door opens for her and there's porridge in the kitchen, and she ends up like, she's been traumatized, and you know why. If you read the story, you'll know why. But she's been traumatized, and she just like all of those emotions and all that adrenaline, she crashes, she falls asleep. When she wakes up, there are these 3 people like, girl, what are you doing here? Like, how did you get in here? Like, what's happening? And she's like, I've got nowhere else to go. Can I please stay here? And they're like, yeah, actually you need to stay here, because like you shouldn't be able to see this house. How can you see this house? How did you get in here? How are you? What's going on? And so things go from there. In this book, we have forced proximity. We have like revenge / justice. It's very like valid and very needed. Like you are rooting for this by the time that we get there. We of course have magic. We have anxiety rep, and we have a good boy phrase. And read this book. Now, this book is a little chunky girl. She chunky. She 500 pages, okay? It's worth it. It's worth it. I will say it's a little bit more character driven. I wouldn't say it's fully character driven, but it's a little bit more character driven. We're really focusing on our main character and like her growth and her healing. So just be aware of that like you're gonna get when you pick up this book, you're getting a very dense story, but it's so relatable. Like I feel like I've highlighted half the book. Because it's just so good and there's so many things that resonate with me. I literally took some of the highlights, some of the quotes, and took them into a therapy session. I'm dead serious. So like, yeah, it's really, really good. It's such a great book. I think that everybody should read it, especially if you've, had some type of trauma as a child, and whether that be like, you grew up in purity culture, or, like your parents made you into a people pleaser, or like whatever the case is. Like if you've experienced something like that, I think anyone in any of those scenarios can get something out of this book. So yeah, I think it's great. I did finally end up reading Radiant Sin. This is another book that I was just like, I know that I'm gonna love this book, so let me save it for a time when I feel like I'm getting into a reading slump, and hopefully it'll save me before I really slump down. And having read The Golden Key, I was like, oh my god, this book is amazing. And I could feel myself going into a slump after such a big high. So I was like, nope, we're gonna read Radiant Sin by Katie Robert. Loved it. Cass and Apollo were so much fun to read about. The dynamics of the fake dating your boss deal, like, and then the way it ended, I did not see that coming. It was good. And then lastly, I did receive another arc. I know you're like, how many arcs does this girl get? I am very, very excited. Okay, I did not expect this either. But I did receive an arc from Ro Singh. It's called Craving, the Alien Vampire. This one kind of gave IPB vibes, in that like the main character is stolen away. She's kidnapped from Earth. And when she gets to this alien planet, she is put in an auction. And so the male main character is there trying to like super sleuth something because he's looking for answers for something else. And part of the plan is they have to like get a person from this auction in order to like, it's part of their like plan. So like him, getting her from the auction, it's a positive thing. But anyway, they end up finding out that they are mates, and there's a little bit of chaos, there's a little bit of bloodshed, but it's a really fun, cute story. It's only 84 pages, so it was really nice to be able to like read it in one sitting. You know me, I love to end books like at nighttime, and that's why I end up staying up till 4 a.m. sometimes, because I'm like, no, I need to know the answers before I go to sleep. So it was nice to read a short book so I could know the answers and I could go to bed at a reasonable hour. But that is the last book that I will talk about in this video, because next week school starts. Oh my god. This is gonna be year 5 for me. I can't believe I finally made it. People say that like if you make it to 5 years of teaching, then like you can actually do this. So I'm like, I just got one more year. Let me make it one more year. But school starts on Monday. I'm actually really excited. I keep saying like, oh my god, but I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited for the school year. I have some great plans for what we're gonna do and how to keep things fun and exciting, and I can't wait to meet my new kids. So I really feel like it's gonna be a great time. But anyway, those were the books that I really loved this summer. I hope that I've inspired you to read a few. But if you've read some of these books, let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you next time. I hope you're having a great day. Bye.